To get started with, let's create a placeholder in here so we can have a skeleton for when we are loading who to follow. So we want to just return a view in here where we are returning a placeholder, which we will just create a view file for only. We do not need to create any component for Livewire. We can just return a view for simplicity. Then inside components, we need to create a folder called placeholder, and we can then call this who to follow. So we want to create a div in here, and I'm just going to add a comment to specify this is a placeholder or skeleton specifically. And then we just want to copy and paste the skeleton in so that we can essentially display it. So if we just get the component to sleep for 5 seconds, make sure you have lazy on so that it loads lazily and will actually work with the placeholder. And then we just want to go ahead and refresh the page, and you can then go ahead and see that it has this nice placeholder on. Now for the follow functionality, we want to go ahead now and go into who to follow blade.php. We want to change this anchor to be a button, and we want this to be a type of button. And then we just want to essentially, upon clicking on it, toggle follow. So we can go ahead in here and ensure we also pass through the ID of the user. So now we just need to head into who to follow component and create a function called follow. So we're just going to go ahead and create this follow function. We also want to make sure we return view for the placeholder. And then for the follow function, it just needs to be a void because we're not returning anything. We need to inject the user in here. And then all we need to do is just dive down with the user to check that we're actually retrieving some data, which is perfect, and we are. So now that we're retrieving this user data, let's go ahead and figure out how it is we're toggling this follow function. We have this has followers trait where we can toggle follow upon a specific user. So if we go now into our user page model, you can see we have this has followers, and we can then go ahead and add in toggle follow as a function in here if we go in and add it. And there we go. So that should essentially toggle the follow of a user. We also want to go ahead and make sure we can unfollow the user. So let's go ahead and add in an if condition here. And this one is just going to be user is following. Otherwise, it's going to be follow. So we're just going to have this one here. For now, we're just going to focus on getting this follow function to work first though. We're going to have a background of blue instead as well. And this is following needs to pass through a user before we can get it to work. And you can see it works on our own user, but we obviously want to get rid of our own user from this template, and we also need to fix the issue with not working on other users. We also need to change the color to white so that we can actually see what's going on. And we need to create this function. We can just rename it to toggle follow, given it's just going to be toggling it. So we can call them both toggle follow. And now we're able to essentially toggle and untoggle it. And then in here, we just need to have a where not user ID. So we're just going to check if the ID of the user is the same as the authenticated user. And if it is, in that case, we do not want to show that person. And now we only see Taylor here as a user, which is perfect. So the next thing is we also want to fix this follow function here so we can follow other users. The reason why this is not working is because we need to modify our who to follow.blade.php file to show appropriately. But first, let's just see what we're getting through. We're getting the user through, which is great, so it's clearly retrieving it. And we're getting null here, and probably because we need to fix how we're following it correctly. So in here we are following and checking if his following is set. The following works on the profile page. So the next step would be to go ahead into our profile page and see if there's anything done differently. We need to dispatch this event as well, so let's go ahead and do that, just to make sure the page refreshes. So update who to follow. We're going to create a protected listener. And we're going to refresh the page. Now the reason why this is not working is because we need to essentially pass through is following. We need to pass through the authenticated user into is following. Like that. And now we are able to essentially toggle it and untoggle it. So the next issue we have is also the styling of the profile page. It is a bit too large, so we need to make sure that we can make the profile page work with the sidebar. So inside the home page here, we need to specify the width and height of it in the profile page. And we also need to just see how it looks with inspect element, but I think for now we just need to specify the width inside the component and make sure that that works properly. So let's get rid of this max width here, or the width. And that now narrows it down, but it looks a little bit bad, so we just want to make sure that we have the width of this page. So let's check what that is. In this case, this is about 600 pixels wide. So for now, we just want to set this to be 600 pixels wide. So we can just say max width of 600 pixels. Go to the profile page, and you can see that it already looks a bit better already. But some of the components inside are still below 600 pixels, so we need to make sure that those also get to 600. So let's set width of 600 and a minimum width of 600. And we also need to do the child components inside here. And that should hopefully fix the problem. But that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.